Marley Bird YouTube channel. This is video 3 of a 4-part series that I am doing to show you how to make the Snowday crochet mittens. By this point, you have completed the cuff, the palm of the mitten, and the thumb opening for both of your cuffs. So congratulations, you're halfway there. Now it's time to do the finger cover. Follow along with the pattern, which is free and available on redheart.com. I'll put a link in the video description box right down there below. You know the drill. Smash that like button so that other people know you enjoyed this video. If you want to follow along with the pattern, make sure you have that in front of you as well as your homework, and we can jump in with the next set of these instructions. This is where I left you at the end of video 2. We have the cuff complete, we have the palm of the hand and the thumb opening for the right hand thumb, and we're ready to start the finger cover. Let's go ahead and pick up our work and just dive in. We are on round 8, 9, or 10, depending on what size you're making. I'm making the larger size, so I'm on round 10. I start off with a chain 2, which counts as our half double crochet now and throughout. We've been maintaining that all the way through, so I'm going to go ahead and move my marker up just like I've been doing all along. On this round, I want to make sure I'm working through the back loop only of all the half double crochets and the chain stitches. We're going to work into those chain stitches that we created at the end of video 2, okay? So let's go ahead, and I will be sure to skip that one, and I will jump in with my half double crochets. Remember, I'm skipping this here because this chain 2 counts as a half double. And then I will work in the back loop only of this one. And now I'm to my chains. These are my thumb stitches, right? So as I'm working into these, I want to make sure I'm working into that back loop. Some people call that the top loop. So I want to make sure I'm only working into that one. Can you see that? Let's do that again. I'm going to only work into this top one. That's called the back or the top, whatever you want to call it. That's the one we're going to work into. And you will do a stitch for each one of the chains you created. So if you did the 2 smaller sizes, you had 5 chains. If you did the larger size, you have 6 chains. And what this is doing is it's maintaining that really cool look right there, that ridge look all the way around. Go ahead, once you've passed the chains, continue on with half doubles all the way around the work. When you finish your last half double crochet, make sure you join with the slip stitch to the second chain of your beginning chain, or the one that you have marked, just like you've been doing all along, and you've completed that round. Depending on what size you're making, you have to repeat that round of working half double crochets through the back loop only for 1, 2, or 3 more rounds. So go ahead and complete those rounds for the size you're making. If you're making the smaller size, you only have 1 more round. If you're making the medium size, you have 2 more rounds. If you're making the large size, you have 3 more rounds. When you're at the end of the row and it's time to join with the slip stitch to that second chain, it's time to change colors again. So let's go ahead, cut your yarn, leaving at least 4 to 6 inches that you can weave in, and then grab your color C. We're going to join with color C by pulling color C through that chain, and then pull it through the loop on your hook. And that's going to change colors. So now we have color C on our hook and color B is complete, okay? You can take the tails. What I like to do is, let me see, I could grab them through the thumb hole and just pull the tails so they're out of my way. And I'm ready to carry on. Once you've changed to color C, you carry on repeating round 3 until you get to either round 14 for the smallest sized, round 17 for the medium size, or round 20 for the large size. It's on those rounds, or that round, that you'll begin to shape the top of the mitten. So go ahead and get to that point. I want to point out, as we're working on this portion of the mitten, this is where you can really customize the size. If you find that this mitten needs to either be longer or shorter than what the pattern is written, this is where you would make those changes. You can either do fewer rows or more rows before we get to the next step of the instructions. So this is where you can really customize the fit of your mitten, okay, as far as the length to fit the hand. I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out here, as I am coming up to join right here, because I am going to customize this one to be a little bit smaller because it's going to be for my niece. So I know that I should have more rows for the size I'm making technically, but I can customize this fit by making this a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the next set of instructions. This is where it would be for round 14, 17, or 20, depending on the size you're making. Okay, so here we go. Let's start this round. This round begins with the chain 2, just like all of the previous rounds. So I'm going to take my marker, mark that second chain just so it's in there. I'm going to close it this time so it doesn't fall out. And we have to start off this time with a half double crochet 2 together. So remember, this chain 2 counts as a half double, so that's going to take the place of the stitch that would normally go there. So I'm going to do a half double crochet 2 together over those 2 stitches. And 2 together, all that means is we're going to take 2 stitches and turn it into 1. So we've yarned over our hook. We go into the back loop only of that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over your hook again. Go into the back loop only of the next stitch over. Yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over, draw through all 5 loops. Okay? What that does is it leaves one remaining stitch. Okay, see how there's the V stitch right there, or not the V stitch, but the V of the top of the stitch. And so even though we worked into 2 stitches, we're left with only 1 stitch. Now you'll see that there is a instructions in the patterns where it has a star, and it says half double crochet in the next stitch, and then half double crochet and then 2 together in the next 2 stitches, and you repeat that for a certain number of times as written in the pattern. The instructions that are written between that star and then repeat from star, or you repeat back from the star, that's what we're going to do all the way around. Okay, so let me show you how to do this. We will do a half double crochet in the next stitch, and then we do a half double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. So I've yarned over my hook, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over my hook, go into the back leg of the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So I have 5 loops on my hook, yarn over, draw through all 5 loops. Half double crochet in the next stitch, half double crochet 2 together over the next 2. Half double crochet in the next, half double crochet 2 together over the next 2. All of these stitches are getting worked through the back leg only. Once you've completed the repeat, go ahead and work just regular half double crochets in the last couple stitches if that's what your pattern calls for. Join with a slip stitch into that second chain from the beginning chain again, just like we've been doing. And I forgot I closed that. We have completed our first round of decreases, okay? Now we work 2 rounds of just plain half double crochets through the back loop only. This is a repeat of round 3. So we want to work 2 rounds of that, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. When you have finished those 2 rounds, you're ready to work the following round, which is a series of half double crochet 2 togethers all the way around. So this time we are not going to have a half double crochet between those decreases. We're going to put a decrease in every 2 stitches, and again, working through the back loop only. So we go ahead and start off. This would be round 17 or 20 or 23 if you're following the pattern. We start off with that chain 2. You can mark that second chain still if you would like to do that. And we jump in working through the back loop only, and we work our half double crochet 2 togethers all of the way around this entire round. So we are rapidly decreasing these stitches so that way we're finishing the top of our mitten. Once this round is complete, we'll go ahead and work one more round of a repeat of round 3, and then this part of the mitten is complete. After you complete that decrease round, as I said, one more round of the round 3, and then it is complete. So we're just going to put half double crochets in your remaining stitches all of the way around this final round here. It's a little bit tricky, just so you know, because you have such a narrow circumference that you're working with now, but it'll go by really quick. So just rotate your mitten all the way around as you go and find those stitches to get them worked. When you're at the end of the round, go ahead and join in the second chain just like you've been doing all along. Okay, so we've got that. Now what I want you to do is we're going to fasten off this stitch, all right? So let's go ahead and we're going to cut a tail, leave a nice long tail here, and I am going to pull this up, okay? So I've pulled that up. I'm going to take this tail here, put it onto my tapestry needle. Don't need any of those anymore. And working through the back loop only of all of these stitches I have remaining up here, I'm just going to thread the tail through the back loop only of these stitches. Okay, make sure you get all of them. And what we're going to do is pull it like a drawstring to close this top of the mitten here. So I'm going to come through these. My mitten's a little bit looser than I would want, but that's all right. I just need to make my stitches a little bit more snug next time. Right here, see if I give this a nice pull. It's going to close the top of my mitt. You see that? It's nice and closed. I can take my needle, I'm going to pop it right down the center, okay? And then if I flip my mitten wrong side out, I'll be able to pull that tail all the way through. And now I'm in a position where I can take the tail and then weave it in. So I would go ahead, you want to really make sure it's secure up here at the top so it doesn't come unraveled. So I really just make sure I go around several different times. I do not put a knot because, you know, then you're just going to be fiddling with a knot the whole time the person is wearing the mitten here. But I'm just weaving it around, making sure it's nice and closed. Perfect. Once that is secure enough for you, give it a snip. You can take the time right now and weave in at the color changes also while your mitten is inside out. It's totally up to you. By this point, your mitten is complete for everything except the thumb. So go ahead, finish both mittens. Join me back for video 4 for how to add the thumb to your mitten. Hey, thanks for joining me today on the channel. If you want more videos just like that one, check out some of these other videos that I've already handpicked for you. And don't forget to hit subscribe so that way you're up to date whenever I release a new video. And don't forget, smash that like button as my kids say. Bye guys.